Good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the one and only Taylor from Life Goal Investments. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, doing great. Let's do this.
Well, it is that time again where it is CPI week. So we are going to look in our very fuzzy and broken crystal balls. We're going to talk about headline and core, what we think, what the market thinks. Do we agree with the market? Do we disagree? And then, of course, next week we will come back and just see how we did. So CPI is coming out Thursday.
Yep.
Thursday, and we can talk about what headline and we can talk about core expectations. You're the guest, Taylor. I'll let you go first.
Yeah. So I was just looking back at some numbers just because the numbers have been so all over the place. I'm like, where have we actually been when it comes to headline? And so I was looking back. It looks like last month we were at 8.3 on CPI. The month before, July, we were at 8.5. And June, we were at 9.1.
Correct.
So coming down, but not coming down meaningfully enough for the Fed to be happy. So they're still slamming on the old brakes. It's interesting. What we've just seen is a little bit of a reversal in some of the things that that I had some confidence in coming down. I mean, oil markets, the cartel, right? Let's call it what it is. OPEC is a cartel. So OPEC has said, hey, we're cutting 2 million barrels a day. And so that's driven oil prices back up. And the other interesting one that I didn't see coming and haven't really made a ton of sense out of just yet is food prices. So the underlying commodities for food, so corn, wheat, soy, et cetera, have now all reverted back up just recently, which is a little disappointing to see because I was hoping to see a continued drift off of those, which was going to help on the food number as well. But that now is last month they were still on a trend downwards and they've recently reverted back up. So the print that we're getting right now, the food prices will have come down for that print. But going forward, that scares me a little bit to say, like, why are we seeing a reversal back up? Is the demand changing? Is the supply changing? What is it that we're seeing there and why is that playing out? So it'll be interesting to see exactly how the food numbers kind of dictate. And those are the two biggies that go into core, right? Food and energy.
They go into headline.
I'm sorry. Right. Go into headline that don't go into core. So,
so there's a couple things I want to add there. So first off, the food number last month was atrocious. From memory, it was like 11.2, the highest since 1979. Anytime you compare to 1979 with inflation, that's bad.
Not good. Not good. But I'll interject. Let me interject one point on that, though. What's interesting is that although food prices were going back up, the commodity price of the actual food goods were coming down. So it's a weird dichotomy. We talked a little bit about diesel fuel and how everything that gets there, diesel fuel is still really high from a price standpoint. And that's the transportation source and the harvesting source to all the underlying food inputs. So that was tough to see there, but keep going.
Yeah. So the other thing about oil and again, we could feel good for going from 9.1 to 8.5 to 8.3, but let's not get it twisted. A lot of that is because we chose, someone chose to start releasing a million barrels of oil a day
out of our strategic reserve. Correct.
Yeah. You can't do that forever. Coincidentally enough, it's running until elections, shockingly.
What do you say? There's some coincidence there?
No, not at all. It's not a coincidence. Not at all. But we have to fill it back up, and we're heading into winter. So I am nervous that, yes, I will say that I think this print on Thursday headline is lower. Next month, not so much.
It is. I'm scared about that too. And you know that I've been in the lower camp, but I am scared of the reversion back up that we've just seen in a couple things here. And again, to your point, the strategic reserve doesn't last forever. And I do think that is a little bit of an excuse as to why oil has come down. Nonetheless, it definitely has helped, but global demand has come in as well. But to your point, we are going into cold months here, and what is going on in Russia right now? I don't even know what's going on in Russia right now. It's scary. I mean, Ukraine's stepped up and bombed that bridge that goes from Russia into Crimea, and that has set off a spiral of events that have the nuclear word attached to them, which is a scary proposition.
Yeah, frightening. So again, I think this week, headline last print was 8.3. I would not be shocked if headlines 8 or 8.1. No, okay. I hope we do. I'm going to call it 8 or 8.1. I think you'll have 4 months down. I think The talking heads will once again focus on headline because it's down. But let me just be very clear. All the action, just like I tried to tell people last month, is in core. And I do not think core is coming down.
Well, let me
Core
interject
was
something
60.
on inflation in general first, though, and then let's go there. Because what you see of inflation in general is the bond market usually leads where inflation's going. And the bond market says right now inflation's going to be hot because bond markets 2s to 10s on the treasury numbers are all going up, which alludes to the fact that inflation still is very, very not controlled. And the Fed's going to have to really slam on the brakes again. That dovish pivot has gone away again. And yeah, now you have the 10-year back at 3.88, 3.9, somewhere right in that ballpark, and the 2 years all the way up to 4.3 or whatever it is. And they've been trading in that range where it's funny. Between prints, it seems that, okay, the Fed comes out or we see CPI or the Fed makes their announcement and you see bond rates rip up. And then we get some bit of data along the way where the market says, okay, we're actually all right. And then bond yields come back down saying inflation's not that bad. And then we go into the next print and they're like, oh boy, I think this is going to be bad
That's
again. Get out
bad.
of the way.
Yeah, we got to. I mean, again and again. The reason I see core going up, right or wrong, it just will, is wages. I think are still again. It's the sticky parts of this are wages and rent, and I think wages are just. And it's a good thing, and it's it's kind of good news, bad news, right? The employees making more money. Well, how can that be bad? Well, people got to raise prices on stuff, and that's just dude. And you know what the really scary thing is for me? Last month, I was waving the hand about core in Wall Street or expectations where core was coming down with headline. So I was on an island by myself. And this time, I did my research over the weekend. Everybody or most people are calling for core to go up. And so am I. I'm like, holy cow, they freaking are with me. This makes me really, really nervous.
Not good. Now you need to go the other side of things. Now it is scary because I've been talking at length about just the fact that housing prices are coming down, but it is a bleed through type economy. It takes a while for the 6 months or whatever that buffer is for it to come through in the rent category. And to your point, I mean, everyone's hoping, it's weird to say, to your point, everyone's hoping that we don't see as many jobs and you see unemployment tick up. But you just don't. It is stubborn.
It went to 3.5 last Friday. We went 3.6 to 3.7. Yay, it's working. The Fed's doing their job. Oh shit, we got a 3.5. I guess that's not true.
Yeah, and we see wage growth at about 5.5%, somewhere in that ballpark. Realistically, and I heard this comment put astutely this morning by Paul Tudor Jones. He said, listen, we need to get wage growth down in that 3.5% ballpark. And that's when you're going to get inflation down to 2, and the difference there being productivity. So you get a point and a half on productivity. So if you get wage growth down to 3.5, and then you take off a point and a half, you're at that 2% number. But we're nowhere near that right now.
Yeah. So I'm going to call a headline 8 just for fun, but I'm going to call core 6.5. What do you got?
I'm going to come in on a headline. And I think, unfortunately, that the next month I will probably go the other way. I think that, and this is not, this is a first for me. I've been saying deflationary. I've been talking a little bit like Kathy Woods.
Yeah, you've been Kathy Wood on my channel. What the hell?
Yeah, exactly right. And not investing in the stocks that she invested, for the record. We've been about as darn conservative as we could be, thankfully. But yeah, I think I'll come in under on that 8 print. So we touch a high 7, which would be really good.
Oh, it'd be awesome.
If we see a high 7, that'll be a really good number.
What do you, let's do core. Sorry, I interrupt you.
Yeah. So I'm coming slightly under on core as well. I think that all of the underlying commodity prices, et cetera, are going to bleed through eventually. And hopefully this is the month that hits.
So you're calling under my 6.5 or under 6.3? Do you see what, just so I'm clear?
Yeah. So, well, a good point. That's what expectation is 6.3 right now. Is that where they're at?
Expectation is 6.5.
It's 6.5. Yeah. So I will come under that. I'll say 6.3. That's what I'll go with them.
Okay. So you go flat. So here's the question. So if we get a 7.9 and we get 6.3, I think the market rips Thursday.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree that that'll happen. And I think that it'll be too soon because, again, I think that some of these numbers that are coming through right now that will print through next month will revert back up.
But here's the real question. What if we get what happened last month? Headline, you get your Magic 7-9. Or shoot, you get 7-8. But core comes in at 6-7.
The market's going to rip.
Really?
I think they're still on the headline number. We keep
the
saying
market
it's core,
is
it's
so
core, it's core,
dumb.
it's core. But I think it's that headline number that people are going to look at.
Oh, this is going to be awesome to see. Taylor, do me a favor. You put out amazing stuff on Instagram. Where can people follow you?
Yeah, follow us at Life Goal Investments on Instagram. We put out daily stuff, 30 seconds or so.
Awesome. Thanks.